Every morning on my run, I pass the same guy. He's out walking his dog. Sometimes he's with his young son. Sometimes he's not. But every morning, I say, good morning. Hey, man, what's going on? And every morning, he ignores me. Flat out ignores me. This morning, I guess I passed by his house. He's coming out of his front walk. I'm passing by. And I say, hey, man, good morning. Doesn't look at me. Totally ignores me. Obviously, your boy has a problem with Miss Jade. I don't know why, but he does. I'm out doing my run, right? And I want him to acknowledge me.
Welcome to the life of an average man, okay? No acknowledgement, no pat on the back, just work. So, like, I don't get it. You're trying to force a complete stranger to acknowledge you. He's just not interested. Today I got a good one for you. This is definitely going to be a build-up story, so I'm going to be playing the video a lot longer than normal. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe as I work my way back into this algorithm. Roll the clip.
Work husbands are of the devil. They are of the devil. Don't do it. Don't do it.
So I was gonna ask, like, so your marriage then at this point?
It was a mess. It was
You
a
were still
mess.
married, right?
I was still married.
Right, okay.
It was we were not seeing eye to eye. We were arguing.
You guys always living together?
Living together. We would argue, like, after church. Like, if we had a church meeting and I would go, he'd be like, why would you go? Why'd you take the baby there for? Like, all that kind of stuff. Like, sometimes he would wake up on a Sunday and be like, I don't want to go to church today. I'm like,
a whole pastor.
but we're the youth pastors. What do you mean? Or, like, people don't know this stuff. So when I say the marriage was suffering, yeah, and then he put on weight on top of that. Like, he got to over 20 stones, guys. Listen. Stay in shape, guys, basically.
What's 20 stone look like? I'm not
kg. I don't know what 20 stones is kg.
So basically, I'm about 14.
And me, I'm about 10, 11.
You can't be 10 or 11.
You're not 10
How many
or
stones
11.
am I?
But
I'm 10 stones.
So I'm about 12.
No.
You're definitely bigger than me, right?
You're about 13. I think you're probably 13.
I'm at 12 stones.
the same.
I'm trying to think, clothes-wise.
I've got
he was basically XXL.
I've got it.
Yeah.
XXL.
XXL.
Yeah, XXL.
Yeah, if you say
Sometimes
he's
even triple
about
XL.
Me, I'm a medium.
What
20
size
is
do you wear
mad.
trousers?
I'm
34.
Yeah.
He was 40.
Hey!
42.
Jesus Christ.
And I remember because I would obviously buy clothes sometimes for him.
Such a
Yeah, it was a lot.
wonderful
So, but remember you said when your pastor introduced you to someone, you're like, I'm not even attracted to them. Now when I look back, I'm like, I wasn't even really attracted.
It was legacy
to the guy.
love.
But it was like, you know, I found someone that
childhood
loves
love.
me, that wants me. I had low self-esteem, you know, so I was like, you know, I've met
And you know
someone
the
that loves
Caribbean
me.
guys, they got bars, you know.
All right, guys, so just to reiterate, she got married to a man that she wasn't attracted to because she had low self-esteem. Something's not adding up. I'm hoping she goes into further detail. Let's continue.
When they start whispering in your ear.
That's why I said, me, baby.
They whispered in your ears before. I've been whispered in your ears.
No, but I've been there when they're whispering.
In someone's ear.
I'm overhearing.
You're overhearing.
The marriage was
2 weeks.
it was a struggle. Yeah. So it's like I'm talking to my pastor, I'm like, I'm not really attracted to him anymore. And he's like, you know, these things happen. You just got to ride through it. So I'm like, okay, I'm just really struggling. I'm just like, I've lost my identity. Like, who's Lois underneath all of these titles? I'm not attracted to my man. We're arguing all the time. I've had a baby, so I'm exhausted. I'm also a teacher, so that's exhausting. And then I've got to look after youth on Sundays as well. It was a lot. I met this guy at my workplace.
husband.
Guys.
All right, so let's just stop right there before she drops the bombshell
already know how that's
about
gonna-
meeting a guy at work.
You already know how that's gonna turn out, and the fact that I think she's telling the story. She telling the story kind of backwards for them. I think she met the guy at work first, and then that made her lose interest in her actual guy.
She mentioned that she had a baby. Congratulations. But I'm sure during those 9 months of pregnancy, plus the time that you needed to recover while you were puffy and bloated, I'm sure he lost attraction for you as well. I'm sure at times during your difficult moments of pregnancy, you were hard to deal with and hyper emotional. But you expected him to understand, stay in that marriage, and be supportive. I just don't understand how a woman can leave a man just because he's going through a rough patch, but expect a man to live up to the duties of a relationship 24/7.
Met this guy at my workplace.
Work husband.
Guys.
It starts with the lunch, innit? We go to lunch
He was
together.
even bringing me Greg's in the morning.
Wow. What was he bringing you?
Oh, just a little chicken bake.
Chicken bake. Chicken bake is not bad.
Chicken
Chicken
bake.
bake.
I despise them.
Chicken
I don't even eat them no more.
Husband.
I don't even eat chicken bakes no more because of that.
Because of work husband.
Yeah, but that
Carly
whole
is living
situation
a
was
bad-
mad.
No, but I've seen work husbands in action, bro.
Is that all it took? Was a chicken sandwich? What? Okay. I see you, sis.
He put in
I don't-
work,
I do
and
not
he
do
knew,
it.
you know, he knew I'm married. Obviously, I'm married as well. I know as well, but because it was all in secret, it festered quickly. You get it? Because no one knew. For our secrets, he'd come to my classroom, we'll talk, we'll chill. Before you know it, he's walking me to the train station. Before you know it, he's calling me in the morning. We're speaking after work, all of that. And now half term comes and it feels like, damn, I want to be at work. I miss being at work. Can you imagine? I miss being at work. I'm like,
Those men, they can't see through women. The women that need.
Gwe. And then work husbands, they're like predators. They're just there.
But me, I also should
They are
have
like what
known.
we call.
I don't work with none of that work. I don't rock with none of that work husband, none of that. You feel me? That don't exist. If you're with me, you hear me?
Agua, snake. They want to-
Me, I also should have known.
Snake, move slow.
They'll
They
be like, and then they'll catch you vulnerable. So you've just had a fight with your husband or something. Is everything okay at home?
Guys, that's what happened. Me and hubby would argue. I'd come to work in a mood. What's wrong? Are you alright? And I'm like, I'll just goodbye. He'll be like, no, it's cool. You know, you can talk to me. Before you know it, I'm opening up about my marriage.
Hi.
Shout outs to the UK, Caribbean fam, Toronto, I see you. The coworker was a gallus, basically a man that's very charismatic and waiting for the right opportunity. This is why women should keep their relationship problems in-house or seek professional help. This is a prime example of a woman ultimately cheating emotionally before it got physical. I think she knew deep down inside feelings were forming, but didn't necessarily do anything about it until it was too late. And the coworker knew he was one chicken sandwich away from clapping those cheeks.
He walked me to the train station, yeah? So obviously I've been saying, no, this whole time. I can't do anything. He just turns to me one day and he goes, please, like, can we just do something? And I'm like, no, I can't. He's like, please. The guy starts describing what he wants to do to me.
Wow. And you're thinking,
Guys,
Tantalizing.
wait.
Be safe out there, Kings. That's the only thing I can fester up right now, man.
As in, my body responded.
of course.
And it had been so long
Frequency.
since that had happened to me.
Frequency.
Where just words alone, I'm standing there like,
Her body responded. Bro. That's wild, bro.
Hey.
You're hot inside, but it's cold outside.
literally, but it's cold outside, and I'm literally like, now I'm really in a pickle now. I'm really in a pickle. So I go to my pastor and I'm like, I sit him down.
again.
Guys, I went to the pastor.
Banang, yeah.
And I said, pastor, I even went to two men, by the way. So I go to both pastors at different points and I'm saying to them, I'm like, guys, there's a guy that I've met and honestly, if I had an opportunity, I'd sleep with him. I would.
Wow.
Like, and if no one would find, I would. Like, that is how far gone I am. I was that honest.
You were gone.
One pastor said, you need to tell your husband so you can protect your marriage. One pastor said, as long as you don't do anything, don't say anything because you're going to bring he was like, you're going to exasperate your husband's insecurities. And it's going to cause an issue.
Sounds like one of the two pastors gave her some sound advice, talking to her partner and communicating what is going on behind his back. I'm not too sure about the other pastor. Let's see what side she took.
He was basically trying to say these moments happen, like someone comes and you're attracted to them and you're like, rah, if I hadn't met, then maybe I would. But then you're like, okay, it's fine. You can appreciate for what it is. So he was like, you're in the wilderness right now, Lois. Just get out of it.
No water.
Yeah, but he was like, whatever you do, don't say anything. As long as you've not done anything, because trust me, it will cause a problem. So I took the first pastor's advice and I went home. I told my husband, I said, and I didn't tell him obviously everything. I just said, listen, there's someone I met at work. I'm kind of attracted to him. Straight away, what were you attracted to?
Now, I like the other pastor's advice. Basically, like, if you have not done anything, just leave it alone. You ain't do nothing. Just leave it alone. So now the fact that you haven't done something and then you bringing it to him, you're going to create a whole nother problem. You feel what I'm saying? So
My God.
And I'm like, I don't know, it's just his vibe, you know, like he's just cool.
Wow.
And I'm like, don't worry, I'm not going anywhere though. Like I'm not going anywhere. I just want to tell you so I can protect our
You might
marriage.
as well have gone somewhere.
Honestly, I'm shaking.
Guys, I look back now and I'm like, that was probably the worst thing I could have done.
I mean, come on.
The worst
thing
situation-
you did was let the relationship with the coworker build up until it was a thing before you told your husband. All right, so let me tell you guys a quick story. I used to deal with this chick back in the day, and she never wanted to have real conversations about our relationship. She never wanted to discuss real issues, have real conversations, problem solve. She wanted to avoid certain discussions. She always wanted to go to bed angry, upset. She never really wanted to talk things out. And ultimately that kind of spilt over and the relationship was pretty much over. So the point that I'm trying to make is not all women, but some women will allow these things to fester, build up, get to a point where it's too late.
I look back now and I'm like, that was probably the worst thing I could have done.
The worst,
because before
bro.
you know it, I had a
The
curfew.
worst.
I had to be home at a certain time. He would check my phone when I wouldn't know. He sent one of his boys to my... The boy took pictures of my work colleagues to try and find out which one it was. I didn't know until he confessed to me at some point.
Wow.
And I was like, right. So now the marriage is really struggling. And so guess what? This other man is what? Forbidden fruit. And we know what forbidden fruit does. Yeah? I'm telling you. So because now my husband is really like, right, putting it on me. Yeah, militant. Now I'm ducking and diving more. I'm trying to hide even more. Oh, you know it, we're lip-sync. Guys, I will never forget the day.
So not peck, kiss it.
With tongue.
Tongue.
Guys, and remember, I'm not that girl. I was not lip-sync in school. Like, my husband was my first everything. As in even lip-sync. He was my first everything. So I've not even known another man.
Another tongue.
Another tongue. Anything. Another touch from a man. So the first time I listened, I remember my mind was like, what are you doing? What have you done? Like, what? And
But
then
you're enjoying.
But I was
but
and then I
enjoying.
go home, I deal with what I'm feeling, and then it passes. And then you want to go back and do it again and again and again. Before you know it progressed, guys.
Wow.
Full on cheated on my husband.
Ultimately destroying her marriage for a coworker that she's probably not even with today.
all
You
it
gotta
took-
ask yourself, was it worth it?
All it took was a chicken sandwich. All it took was a chicken sandwich. Oh my God.
I forget one moment when I had counselling after I cheated, because I had to face myself. Like, I couldn't run away from what I've done. Like, when I say it felt like my whole world came crashing down. And I remember sitting in therapy, and my counsellor said, you know the woman, the story of the woman in the Bible who was caught in adultery, right? And I was like, yeah, I know that story. She was like, what did Jesus do? And I said, she was going to be stoned.
Yeah.
And Jesus said, those who are without sin,
Cast the first.
cast the first stone. So she said, why don't you think Jesus would do that for you? And I was like, I just don't think he would. And she was like, but you read it in the Bible. And I said, I know, but I just don't feel like God will have my back like that. And she was like, so you're preaching a God you don't believe in? Guys,
I even feel like
dagger to my heart.
Just
Dagger to my heart. When I say
yeah.
it was in that moment that I realized everything I had built was on my own strength. It was built on people pleasing, all that submission that I could give. It wasn't really based on a loving God I had found for myself and had
Please other
changed my
people.
life. And that was when my journey with God really began. Because I was at rock bottom. I had nothing to offer. I was not this poster child anymore who's done well, good GCSEs, did all of this, theology. No, all of that was gone. Now I'm the bad guy. And that's what a lot of people don't experience sometimes, being the bad guy. So they like to point a finger at someone else. And so a lot of my friends were just angry with me. And now they're married, and now they realize, this marriage thing ain't easy.
They've also seen.
They've also sinned for themselves, so it happens in life. And so there's been a lot of forgiveness, and I had to manage a lot of my emotions to still have certain people around me, because you go through this difficult patch. So many people just forgot all the good that I put out there and just focused on the bad.
I think premarital counseling is important. Understanding who you're getting yourself involved with, what are her likes, interests, hobbies, deal breakers, and even after all that, it still might not work. 80% of women leave marriages and relationships, and to blame it on it being hard as an excuse, I can't accept that. To be a man in today's society is hard, yet the expectations for us remain the same. To provide for your family, stand strong, and suck it up. First commenter says, I love her transparency. Shout outs to her for sharing her story. Hopefully she can learn from this experience
But hey, man, tell me what y'all think about that video in the comments, man. That was a wild story, but hey, I guess she got better in the end or whatnot. But hey, see you guys next video. Be safe out there, kings. Let's get it.